It is 4:47 in the morning. You are already awake. You have been awake for almost an hour. The room is dark. Your phone sits face down on the table. You do not check it. You don't need to. There is a knock on the door. 3 short knocks. Then silence. You get dressed. Black trousers. Black shirt. Black shoes. Nothing flashy. Nothing that draws attention. You check your equipment. Your earpiece. Your phone. Your identification. Everything is where it should be. You leave the room. The hallway is quiet. Outside, a black SUV is waiting. The engine is already running. You get inside. Your driver looks at you. You give him a nod. There is no small talk. There is no music. The first rule of your job is simple. Always pay attention. You are not a normal security guard. You are part of a private protection team. Your client is a billionaire. His name appears in newspapers. His face appears on magazine covers. His companies employ thousands of people. People know where he lives. They know what businesses he owns. They know where he travels. Some even know what car he drives. That information is harmless to most people. To you, it is intelligence. Because when your job is protecting someone this wealthy, the greatest threat is not always standing in front of you. Sometimes it is watching from a distance. Sometimes it is collecting information. Sometimes it is simply waiting. Your SUV enters the estate. The gates open. You watch them closely. The property is enormous. A house that looks more like a private hotel. Security cameras cover the entrances. There are guards at different positions. The grounds are carefully controlled. But you don't feel completely safe. You never do. Security is not about believing nothing will happen. It is about preparing for what could happen. You walk toward the house. Your client is already awake. His schedule begins early. Meetings, calls, travel, private events, business negotiations. You stay close. Not too close. Close enough. You learn to move through crowds without becoming part of them. You learn to watch hands instead of faces. You learn to notice who is looking at your client, who is moving toward him, who suddenly changes direction, who appears somewhere they shouldn't be. Your client may be thinking about $1 billion deal. You are thinking about exits, doors, vehicles, crowds, blind spots, distances. You are constantly calculating. Where would you move him if something happened? Which vehicle leaves first? Which entrance is safest? Where is the nearest secure location? You do this without saying much. That is the point. Your client should be able to live normally. You are the one who cannot. He gets into the private jet. You check the surroundings. He walks into the restaurant. You scan the room. He attends a business meeting. You remain nearby. He goes to a party. You are still working. He sees a beautiful city from the balcony of a luxury hotel. You see the doors behind him, the windows, the surrounding buildings, the people below, the cameras, the possible approaches. You are looking at the world differently now. Luxury has changed meaning. A mansion is not just a mansion. It is a perimeter. A yacht is not just a yacht. It is a floating security problem. A private jet is not just transportation. It is a controlled environment. A crowded concert is not entertainment. It is a risk assessment. You begin to understand something. The richer your client becomes, the more complicated his freedom becomes. He can go almost anywhere, but he cannot always go there casually. He can eat at any restaurant, but someone may need to check it first. He can travel whenever he wants, but his movements may need to be planned days in advance. He can walk through a crowd, but you have to think about every person within reach. Money gives your client freedom. Your job is to protect that freedom, and sometimes that means sacrificing your own. You miss birthdays. You miss holidays. You miss dinners. You miss weekends. Your phone stays nearby even when you are sleeping, because emergencies do not care about your schedule. There are nights when you finally get home. You take off your shoes. You sit down. Then your phone rings. You get up again. You don't complain, at least not where anyone can hear you, because you know what the job requires. The pressure is constant. One mistake can become more than a mistake. If you fail to notice something, if you underestimate someone, if you take your attention away at the wrong moment, The consequences can be irreversible. That knowledge follows you, even when nothing is happening. Especially when nothing is happening. Because calm does not mean safe. It only means nothing has happened yet. Your team trains for situations you hope never occur. Emergency evacuations. Medical emergencies. Crowd control. Vehicle movements. Communication failures. Unexpected changes. You practice until the movements become automatic. Because if something happens, you don't have time to think through every step. You react. You move. You protect. And you hope your preparation was enough. Then there is another side of the job. The side people rarely see. Privacy. Your client trusts you with information that can never leave the room. You know where he is going. You know when he is traveling. You know who he is meeting. You may know details about his family. You may hear conversations that could be worth millions to someone else. You learn quickly that silence is part of the uniform. You cannot become impressed by the lifestyle. You cannot become careless around powerful people. You cannot sell stories. You cannot take photographs. You cannot casually tell people where your client is. Even your friends may not understand why you cannot explain what you do. Because the most important parts of your job are the parts you can never talk about. Then one evening your team receives a message. A potential threat has been identified. The details are limited. You don't know whether it is serious. You don't know whether it is a bluff. You don't know who is behind it. But you treat it seriously. The schedule changes. The route changes. The team communicates. Your client is told only what he needs to know. He continues with his evening. From the outside, everything looks normal. Inside the security team, everything has changed. You watch every entrance, every vehicle, every unfamiliar face, every movement. The event ends. Your client leaves safely. The vehicles move. The gates close. Nothing happens. That should feel like a victory. But nobody celebrates. Because in your profession, the best outcome is often the one nobody notices. If you do your job perfectly, people may never know you were there. No applause. No headlines. No recognition. Just another ordinary night. You eventually return to the estate. The billionaire walks inside. The doors close behind him. You remain outside for another few minutes. You look across the property. The lights are still on. The city is still moving. People are going home. Families are eating dinner. Children are sleeping. Most people are thinking about tomorrow. You are thinking about the next shift. You realize something about this life. You are surrounded by wealth. But you do not experience it the way your client does. You see the private jet. But you are focused on the perimeter. You enter the 5-star hotel. But you are checking the exits. You stand inside a mansion worth millions. But you are thinking about what could go wrong. You are close to extraordinary wealth. Yet your own life becomes strangely restricted. Your freedom is the price of protecting someone else's. And that is the hidden reality of being a billionaire's private security guard. The job is not really about guns. It is not about wearing a suit. It is not about standing beside a famous person. It is about responsibility. It is about being alert when everyone else is relaxed. It is about staying calm when everyone else is afraid. It is about making decisions in seconds that could affect someone's life forever. And perhaps the strangest part is this. The better you become at your job, the less people notice you. A successful protection officer is almost invisible. You prevent the problem before it becomes a story. You remove the danger before anyone realizes it was there. You make sure the billionaire can wake up tomorrow and continue living a life that feels completely normal. Even if your own life is anything but normal. The sun begins to rise. It is another morning. Another shift. Another day standing between someone and everything that could threaten them. You check your watch. You adjust your earpiece. Then you walk back toward the house. Because when your job is protecting the world's most powerful people, success is not being remembered. Success is making sure there is nothing to remember. Because the greatest protection is the sacrifice nobody ever sees.